All right, folks. I hope you are doing well. I'm doing well. I'm on a map I finally like, and that is Roulette Lane. This one historically, well, when I say historically, I mean, way back in the day when frames were generated by GPUs and so forth. Anyways,
I'll help.
Roulette Lane, it's a Union defending map. It's also one where the defenders only have artillery. They also have it in fairly large numbers, right? They got 6 guns in a commanding position. The point of contention is right down there, pretty much around that stone wall, that fence. There's that cabin there. We have a 400-man server. We're starting with almost 300 already. I'm trying to mute up everybody who's not an officer so that we can hear the officers and other things. I think as the server size has gotten larger, on this particular map, it has helped the defenders. Defenders don't need to do much. The strat is mostly hold this snake fence and the stone wall. Right? There is another stone wall over here. It's usually a little bit harder for the CSA to use it. Plus, Union artillery. Wow, that cough snuck up on me. Can plank out of it. It's one where the CSA has some 1842s, but also some ranged options, and so they can do kind of well at long range and kind of well at close range, but they can't do spectacularly well at any of them. The Union, by contrast, their advantage is at long range. This CSA company is going to get deleted. If not supported, it doesn't look like they're going to get supported. You have 2 other companies out in the woods, and you have another company here. Well, I think this is a company. That's not an office. I don't know what that is. There should be another CSA company. There they are. They're in no man's land. They don't maybe know that yet, but you can't stay here for too long for reasons. If you don't know, you will see. But eventually, artillery or infantry is going to focus you down. This CSA group, they were not technically wiped. There were 3 of them left by the time friendlies came to them, and they will probably have to save their flag. The Union, they're shooting downhill over open ground. This is exactly where the Union's weapons want to be. I saw this map played recently, and the Union artillery, yeah, they blew a hole in the snake fence. Now that those are destructible, those were destructible. The straight fences weren't, but now the straight fences are too. In any event, you can see the 12-pounder. Its case on. This 12-pounder is going to have pretty much point-blank shots. I don't know if that's canister. No, it didn't hit like canister, but that would be the ideal canister range. A lot of maps, sometimes it feels like, what's the point of canister? But canister is really good if you have a little bit of elevation, and it's really good if you can hit like the enemy on a line. So if either the enemy if you have their flank, or if they're moving in a column, that canister path, I've captured it in only a couple of videos recently. It's absolutely devastating. So, but hey, at this range, you're doing great work. So, we'll see how that goes. The tickets are surprisingly close on this one already. I don't know what accounts for that. It feels like this has been a one-sided affair in favor of the Union, who's not even bothered to take cover in their snake fence. Wow, look at that. Ricochet. A bit long, I'd say. Take a look at who our officers are. Again, without being perfectly familiar with everybody, I think the Union has a slight advantage here. Mostly just because I don't know everybody. But the folks I do know in the Union, I've seen them do consistently well. And so I'll go with that over unknown, but that's... You don't know what you don't know. So. Alright, this group here Although well covered and concealed isn't really able to throw much lead into that fight, you can see the Union line, it stayed fairly chonky and healthy, and so that just means that they're going to win the attrition fight here against this group. Attackers get more tickets, so, you know, they can take things like this that defenders would not take well, but, wow. We are post-ballistics update, as you can tell with the 400-man server. We'll see what else happens in this one, but this is one when I've seen it recently. It can be tough for the CSA, but the CSA can also close ground surprisingly quickly, deceptively quickly, and so we'll see if they're able to do that in this one here. This just seems like it's going to be a rough, right? Always a rough position to take. What on earth was that? Yeah, I don't know who did that, but it looked like a shell went into the ground right there. CSA does not have already on this map, so I don't know. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe the Union's just that far ahead that they can do that. You can see the CSA was still getting let up here. A lot of Union all throughout. Alright, so we have some sense as to where the CSA is going. We're gonna go to build up in the woods or build up behind the barn. Sometimes what the CSA will do, and there's an opportunity here for them, is to come around the inside. Here, I'll just show you. To come around here, and it's not that long of a path out in the open. To get to the fences here, you usually want to try to shoot down the fence and kill as many Union around the fence. I understand it. The Union has a line here. They don't have that far to move to be there, but they do have to move somewhere. This Union group, they've opted for the cabin. They're also not in a great position to deal with that immediately. They'd have to probably go up and over to come out here. Then you run the risk of being overrun. But the Union is quite far up and to the right here. And again, they would have the inside track over those CSA groups who have to come from a longer ways away, right? They're basically the hypotenuse in that right triangle, and so that is the longest distance. But I wonder if the CSA has an option to go inside track here. I mean, now the Union's pushing up real aggressively. On the upside, this kind of takes away this whole area, right? So the CSA can't get any easy jumps. But this is a pretty aggressive move here from the Union, which, as well as it's done, I think is actually slightly behind in tickets. CSA would probably do better if they didn't have a couple of Rambo Chargers.
Spread it out. Spread it out. Keep shooting.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, those guys who are just kind of going in piecemeal there, that's going to be rough on the CSA's tickets, but they did pretty much get the Union down at the same time they did, and they did it at 34 minutes, tons of time, so certainly. Yeah, usually the black timer is not the big problem for the CSA until they go final push. But prior to that, it's usually not a problem. Doesn't look like the CSA has the numbers to do this, but maybe they're just going for the ticket trade, which is fine. Yeah, you can go for the ticket trade, then you can pull back and you can reset. Union's going to want to shut this down fairly soon. The CSA has 3 flags up. It looks like some of the CSA who are spawning are opting for reloads while others are trickling in. One CSA spawn is very, very aggressive. That's a level 2, so, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's now forcing the rest of the CSA to come up and rescue their own flag. But the Union is big here. I was stabbed. Oh, no, I was shanked with a sword. And that just might be the one CSA flag that doesn't get out. There's now a second CSA flag down, and the Union has killed enough of them that the CSA may lose a second flag here. That will put them at a significant disadvantage here. A third flag goes down? I really don't get it. I guess the CSA was just that late in getting out of that charge. But 3 flags down pretty much means the attack grinds to a halt. This group here, they got to hit their T button and they got to realize something is up. If the Union really wanted to get aggressive, they could push this 4th group down, stand on all their flags, and pretty much cut the rest, I don't know, 3-4 minutes at least off that black timer. Even then, it'd be a little rough. But now you can see the relative ticket position is just about dead even. And so, I think a minute or two ago, I think it was, all things considered, going well for the CSA. And now maybe it's slightly back in favor of the Union. Are they opting to camp the enemy flags? They're not. I don't understand this. I do not understand the decision to not camp the enemy flags. Alright, so this guy probably knows what's up. Right, he's level 57. He's in the bush there. I get it. The artillery guy that doesn't make any sense. But even if you're the Union and you have to invest a few tickets, if it keeps the attackers off you for all those minutes, like, why not? But then again, if you expect that the black timer is not going to be the real big problem, and it's really going to be relative tickets and getting the CSA in the final push first, then it makes sense to hold back. Here you can see that's maybe a CSA flag recovery mission, at least one of them. There is a second there behind it. Now there is the Union dude who's waiting in the bush. It also looks like an artillery guy, an artillery NCO is there, but I don't know why you would commit to that if you saw there were several CSA. That's not a good commit. But CSA is going to get, I think, eventually 2 of those flags out. So probably a good thing for them and their attack, but took a fair number of relative out of formation deaths to do it. We can see that CSA flag has dropped a couple times. Alright, what does the CSA come up with here? Oh wow, those 2 Union are potentially a lot of out-of-line tickets, if only CSA knew. So you have CSA in the building. Yes, Rambo, yes, that went real well for you. Playing ready or not, 1862, and you were not ready.
Biscuits Company, let's start moving east towards the woods. East towards the woods.
We're taking the woods.
Alright, so the CSA has opted to go back in the woods.
Parrot, hold up. North Carolina.
I saw somebody's tag went flying. I think it's that dude. He seems alive. Yes, alive but hatless. not sure why, but reminds me of a story of James Madison. When the Constitutional Convention was about to get underway, he had been the first non-Pennsylvanian to arrive, and apparently someone, he had gone to like a, I guess it was a tavern or something like that, and he had hung his, I guess, hat and coat up, and someone had taken his hat when they left. Apparently he was so embarrassed that, I don't know if he didn't leave for days or for hours. I have to go back and reread the book, but like, he was super embarrassed to be seen out in the streets without a hat on. It has nothing to do with anything, but we're just watching a shootout that largely is obscured by smoke. Alright, so you got 3 CSA flags in here.
Keep shooting, boys. Keep shooting.
So you understand why the CSA's here. I mean, there's a lot of concealment,
27th,
fair amount of cover. Union's about, believe it or not, the CSA is ahead.
Shot is a kill.
It amazes me.
We're taking those Yankees down one shot at the time. Keep that fire up.
Yeah, I think the Union's gonna go taking losses here first. Very interesting.
Covered in your brother's blood.
Wonder if Union artillery is making use of its caissons here. That is emptying them.
Not gonna lie, guys, I've had vibes like this.
Okay. Quite full. Alright, quite full. Quite full. On the rifled guns especially. So maybe those Union guns here in the last... Union went taking losses here, 26 minutes. Yeah, Union... It's not all on the Union artillery or anything like that, but maybe they'll be able to fire through their rounds a little bit faster. Overall, it's dead even at 157 men on each side. Union artillery has 17 people in it. For 6 guns, it's not crazy. Because there's some ammo, right, caisson movement. The guns had to be moved. You're multiple manning the guns so the ones that are up can keep firing. Like, I get it, but I want to watch that movement.
Fuck pushing this forward. Grab a canister and load. Do not charge. Do not charge. You're shooting them. You're shooting them.
Yeah, that's the first part of it. I don't know what the delay is for. With the other CSA, the flags back, I get. You don't want to lose them. Makes sense. There is a bit of a def lead here, but as the Union moves to the right, your right as the CSA, that def lead disappears. Union's not there yet. Yeah, well, that's the group here. But because you don't have friendlies up to counter push, right? If you had friendlies up, you could kind of cover that right oblique, but you know, they're trying to cover you from way back here, and it's like they're going to have reduced accuracy. I guess maybe they're thinking this group in the Stonewall here is pretty much getting hits for free. And again, it kind of makes sense. This group, alright, their flag isn't up, but they got to pull back. They're going to start taking out of formation deaths just from shooting. Union's still behind on tickets. Not enough time left on the black timer to consider running it out to 0. Biggie is going to run up there, and he actually forces the whole line back by himself. I think the actual reason is that the Union saw that this attack had been shot to pieces, and there was no point in standing up further. But we'll see. Now the Union, having moved back, is also going to move up. Oh no. Oh no.
We're losing
Here we have
Winning. We're gonna hold back here.
we have Rambo Wars here. CSA got one. You got the CSA officer up here too. Was he clearing this bush? What got him? Dude in... Oh, he's in the bush now. Gotcha. I thought he gotten killed there. Well, that means... I don't know that it's enough to deal with that. Yeah, it's not going to be enough to deal with that entire company. But if the CSA trickles a few more up here, we could potentially move to take that corner. And you see, out in the open like this, you have no cover. The CSA does have very few scrims back at the White House. I'm always kind of surprised that the CSA doesn't, particularly with the big servers, keep a few more back here. Yeah, you can certainly move in here, but there are a ton of CSA in here. All right, ready or not, 1862. Let's see what we get here. Ah! Saw blood. That guy dropped. There is a side door. You didn't go for that either? Oh, they're just gonna shoot it out. Well, as I was so eloquently coughing, what that means is that a small number of CSA can tie down a larger number of Union, which compounds the artillery issue for the Union, which means the CSA still have more men, more infantry, who are going to be concentrating on the point that matters than other things. I get this, though. That was a sizable CSA group that was in there, and that would cause a lot of harass to any unit that wasn't tucked into a wall or a fence. This is not good for the Union. There may be 42s up there. You have people who apparently don't realize what color that is. That was probably a lot of out of formation. Up. And just like that, the Union is on the verge of breaking. So this is very different than what I saw in a much closer, more recent... No
volley right now, no volley.
A recent match.
Just keep independent.
This I get. Makes sense, right? You got wide open shots that negates the hard cover of the wall, stone wall. The soft cover of the fence on the left, but... You know, when the CSA gets their numbers up, you're also not going to have cover from that. If anybody wants to explain that to me, go ahead.
Just keep on firing, keep on firing.
Well, you got to be careful here. You got a friendly officer in the road. You definitely... I think you just killed the officer and that guy. But that's not going to be the reason you lose. It'll be for other things. Union already... I don't know what happened. Alright, that was them.
You're running up on us, boys.
Yeah, and the CSA can pretty much afford to embed themselves in there, deal with the Union as they come, get reloads, especially in the 42s, and then just knock the Union down as they come in. The Union can build up for a big push off, but cap recap's out of the question. CSA has about 20% left of taking losses. Union's 20% of the way through breaking. That was a good hit by Union Arty. They need about 3 more. That's rough. You survived. Oh, that was a good. All right, all right. Ask and ye shall receive. My only other comment would be to spread those out, right? Once every 4 to 5 seconds to keep a constant suppression going. And now... having been knocked around, the Union is shooting this group up. None of those CSA guys, they all want to get their kill in melee. Nobody wants to pick the flag up, so everybody gets to spawn back at main. Cool. Rather than follow those guys, let's go see what's going on. Let's get the view from Union Arty and infantry. right? Union's got the CSA in braking. Union is about 55-60% left in braking. 18 minutes on the clock. It's all over except the end.
Good work, boys. Yo, boys, spread out. You fucking riflemen, come on. Get on the fucking line. Get on the line, boys. Get on the line.
There's nothing to fire at. I have free aim.
Sorry.
The second they charge, I'm hitting with a shell.
Copy. Hold. They're still there.
Nice shot. Nice looking shot, right?
Alright. We got another officer. We got Big and Cheese here. Company A, North Carolina. To the rear. Back to double quick. Forward. March.
Oddly enough, there's no one there. Everyone was around it, but no one was right there. Yeah, Union Arty is really going to have to be on key. I mean, if they had all 6 guns loaded, it is conceivable on any mass CSA charge, if they spread out their shots, they could disrupt and kill enough during the charge to allow the rest of the Union infantry to obliterate that charge at little cost to the Union. There might be a way back into this. But that is a highly contingent scenario,
Even if we're all dead.
and that means it's unlikely. Looks like some of the Union guns, at least, are still pointing out over that way.
Let's go, serve, gentlemen.
Alright, don't start.
I love you all, gentlemen. Everybody, kneel down. Kneel down.
On the star, boys, southwest.
No. Oh no. Oh no. What? Well, worth?
Help us get our slave back, God.
Not sure exactly what the CSA is waiting for here. I don't know. Find out.
Come on, boys! Come on!
They ain't got me yet.
Watch the left flank, watch the left flank. They're pushing left. They're pushing on left. Left flank, left flank, left flank, left flank, left flank, left flank.
This might be the Union's opportunity to wipe the CSA, put them into final push, sit on the CSA's flags, and then try to last samurai them as they come in. We got 2.5 minutes. The Union seems like they were in last stand for maybe 30 seconds before this. It's gonna be very close. I don't know what those Union get. The Union Arty guys are whacking each other with Q-tips. They really need to get on point. Yeah, CSA has already made up a lot of ground to get back to this cabin. The Union is concentrated on wiping this portion, but they're not set up for the CSA to come back this way. And these Union are not coming back. It looks like the Union spawn wave from last stand has already been expended. It's already into the line here and accounted for. The CSA can kind of regulate for about the next minute if it wants to shoot out and knock some of the Union down before it moves up onto point. The artillery, for its part, I mean, it could break up the last charge, but I would say after you load up that last shell, send everyone else who's unnecessary, send them up, and you might be able to get away with 1 or 2 dude, and just on that collection of 3 cannons, just tell them to just rip the primer on all 3 in rapid succession, or hold them back, but then just send everyone else up. But you need cap weight on the point. Yeah, CSA is opting for a push over here. They've gone the other way most of the time. They built up a little bit over there, but once they get this part of the stone wall and they can shoot down it, that great hard cover means absolutely nothing. And that should be it. Well done by both sides, right? This is another one that kind of goes down to the wire. Early on, felt maybe a little Union advantage. CSA tended to pull that back. Probably just through the tickets on the map. Oh, and that's it already. So 30 seconds left on the clock. The CSA closes out. We'll get our casualty figures and we'll call that a map. Yeah, Union's doing a pretty good job of, taking fewer casualties, taking fewer out of lines, fewer skirmishing. But the tickets are they're rough on this map. Despite the pretty strong defensive position the Union gets, I think the CSA might get even more back in the way of tickets. So very nicely done again to both sides under the circumstances, and look forward to seeing more of these soon.